Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Nick with EDC Mag, and today we're going to talk about a knife from Kirby Lambert. Before we get into that, I want to show you guys something I picked up a while back that is a little bit opposite of what we're going to look at today as far as the vibe that this knife gives off versus the vibe of what we're about to see. Now I'm going to move this completely out of the way because our next guest is kind of dangerous. This is my boomstick. Army of Darkness. There's no way I'm going to get this thing in the frame. But just so you guys can see it, this is a hate stick from Hate Stick Manufacturing. Jeremy Wilson is an incredibly creative guy, and he started Hate Stick Manufacturing. And I was able to get one of these from him, late last year. And they are just brutal. Now, this is no joke. This thing weighs just under roughly 5 pounds. It is all steel and hate and fully welded by Jeremy. Ironically, has a glass breaker on the on the tip. Nice hand stop down here. My goal is to add a wrist strap in here, all leather wrapped. I mean, these things are just made completely from scratch. Mine's got fuzz on it. Of course, it's oiled, so it collects everything, including DNA. Now, you'd think, oh, that'd be cool, man. I could club somebody with that. Well, no, you couldn't. I mean, you could, but this thing is, it's too violent for that. It really is. There would be no head left on the shoulders of someone, if they were struck with this. This would go through a car door. This thing is no joke. I had an idea when I got this thing, that it was badass, but holy crap. This is the real deal. This thing will flat out mess something up. Now, on his page on Facebook, he had a contest, or they had guys destroying stuff with their hate sticks. He makes a lot of different things. This comes in a 6 fin and an 8 fin. Of course, I'm a big dude. I swing a big stick. I wanted the 8 fin. He makes one called a mace. That's a mace, that's a ball with a spike. He just makes some really cool stuff. But my intention is to take this thing to a car. And when I do, I'm going to have several people filming it, and I will definitely post it. I just haven't had the time or opportunity to do that yet. But this thing is badass. It is no joke. If you've never seen these, check out Jeremy. He's out of Atlanta, Georgia, and he just makes some kick-ass stuff. He's recently, in the last few months, gotten into knives, and he's just making some ridiculously sick fixed blade knives. Just amazing design. Just some really scary stuff that you really want to have. If you like this, you're gonna like that. But he's on Facebook. He has a page on Facebook. He's on Instagram, IG. So you can keep up with his stuff. That's where you can see a lot of his stuff as well. And then he does have a website. If you Google Hate Stick Manufacturing Company, you'll come up with his website. But there's not a tremendous amount of information there. There's some stuff there, but your best bet's either to do Facebook or IG. If you don't have those, I don't know what to tell you. You're missing out. But this is the Hate Stick from Hate Stick Manufacturing. It is a serious, serious weapon. I would rather be stabbed with a knife than hit with this thing. I might have a chance of surviving a knife. Somebody catches you upside the head with this, that's it, you're done. There's no more. So there you go. EDC Mag, toy for the day, Hate Stick. A lot of hate in the air. All right. Moving on. Let's talk about the Orion. Now this is the Orion from Kirby Lambert. And I've been aware of Kirby Lambert. He's been around since, 2000. He's been making knives full time since about 2002. And man, he just makes some absolutely stunning, beautiful knives. Now again, this knife, I had a chance to come across, or to pick it up. I came across it unexpectedly. And while it's still a little small for me. It's a 3.5-inch blade. I just couldn't pass up a chance to fondle something that Kirby had made, because he just makes some absolutely stunning knives. And I've kind of ventured a little, most of my knives are big, crazy, obnoxious, monster machines. And so I've been venturing a little bit more into some more civilized, if you will, looking knives. This one is CPM 154. Kirby uses like all kinds of just exotic and stunningly beautiful materials. This particular knife, the Orion, is 3.5 inches long. It's CPM 154. It's a clip point, tanto, recurve. It's called the Orion MGT. Which stands for multi-grind tanto. It's got anode TI barrel spacers in it, if you can see those. The bolsters, the liners, and the clip are all bead blasted. And I have not even cleaned this knife since I got it. I haven't had it very long. I wanted to play with it a little more, but I've just been too busy elsewhere, so I thought I'd go ahead and get it on camera for you guys, let you take a look at it. Now his knives are out there. Like I said, he's been making knives full time since 2002. This is a desert, I think it's definitely an ironwood, desert ironwood maybe. But it's an ironwood. It's just beautiful, stunning. Obviously, it's a liner lock. It's running on washers instead of bearings. And again, I've talked about before, I used to shy away from those. I do not anymore. Although it still has excellent, just perfect action. It's just flawless. It's still a different feel than bearings, and it's a different action, and that's hard to explain, but I'm sure most of you have had both, and you know what I'm talking about. It's just smooth in every way. Now this, even though, and Kirby again is he's a maker from Canada, and I don't know, I seem to have an affinity for Canadian makers, but man, those guys really know how to make a fighting style knife, and this is no exception to that. It's just flawless in every way. Absolutely beautiful. And this is a very, again, it's a little bit small for me as far as what I'd like to carry, but it's, for somebody that I mean, it's just very understated. It's not. It doesn't have a bunch of and he does those types of knives too, with different. Excuse me, with different steels, different finishes. You know, the Mokutai and all the fancy bright stuff, and the Damasteels and the elephant tusk and the rainbows and the unicorns and all of those things. This particular one, though, just in the way it's done and the way it's finished, you know, somebody that wants to carry something of very high quality but doesn't necessarily want all the flash, I mean, this is your knife. It's got a slight recurve in it. The grinds are just absolutely amazing. I love the fact that it's non-flipper. It's a thumb stud only. That is just perfect. Beautiful knife. I'm not exactly sure what it weighs, but I'm guessing it probably weighs around 5 ounces maybe. I mean, it's really pretty light. It's not terribly thick. Let's check it out. Ah, I was off. Okay. So 6.8, 6.5 ounces, somewhere in there. It's a little heavier than I thought, but still, it just doesn't feel heavy in hand. That surprises me a little bit. It is a little bit thick. I mean, it's a fighting style knife. I love the offset on the grind. That's pretty cool, the way he did that. I don't know if you can see that, the way it's offset there. So let's use the old trusty standby Kershaw. Do a side-by-side. Somewhat comparable. Obviously the Kirby's a little bit bigger. This is a 3.25. This would be a 3.5. So just slightly larger. Not a terribly tall blade, as I talk about a lot. Not terribly tall. Definitely a different blade design. But it gives you an idea. If you know, Kershaw is fairly common. Link is fairly common. USA made Kershaw. But this is just elegant. I mean, it's, I don't know, what would you, quietly violent? As opposed to the hate stick, which is loud and obnoxious and will kill you or at least break your foot if you drop it. This is just so stylish. I love his clips. So well done. The finish, the fit. And he's been doing this a long time, and he really knows how to grind a blade, and just to be able to have something in hand that he's, you know, that he's built himself, for me is just awesome. I mean, you know, that's the whole point of this hobby for me is getting to play with and hold and flip things that these guys have created. And there's not a whole lot of information on Kirby outside of he was pretty artistic as a kid and in college, and he got into knife making in the mid-90s and started doing it full-time in 2002. And in the knife world, in the custom knife world, he is very well known, and for good reason. He just makes some absolutely stunning knives. I guess if you wanted to, you could put a lanyard around the back barrel of this. Although to me that would, I wouldn't do that, but some people do. That's alright. That's your personal preference. In hand, this thing actually feels pretty good. For me, even though I normally like about a 4 to 4.25 inch blade, this actually fits really well in my hand. I mean, it's almost just the right size, which is rare in this size of a knife for me. The scales are just tall enough to make you, to let you know that you've got a handful there, and this knife is not going to get lost in your hand, and you don't have to crank it up and mess around and position it. I mean, it's just the right size so that it's not going to get lost in your hand when you go to deploy it or close it, either one. I mean, it's just right there. And a lot of that, I think, for me, it's one of the reasons why I love thumb studs is, when you pick up a knife, it's just a natural position for your hand, whereas you gotta, instead of having to stop and go up here and find that flipper tab, when you just pick this thing up, your thumb's there and you're good to go. So there you go, guys. The Kirby Lambert Orion. I don't know. I'm a hillbilly. However I say it's going to be wrong. MGT. I think this was a 2016 design. Absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful, sophisticated yet and stylish, but still very dangerous. Just an amazing knife. This functional art, it's just stunning. Alright guys, so there you go. Kirby Lambert versus the hate stick. Quite a opposites there. Hey guys, I appreciate you watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We're having a lot of fun. Just getting started. We've got a lot more planned. Thanks for watching, and until next time, have a good one.